Sack Life, beat depression. It's day 782, and you know what we were about to do. Get back into another somatic healing session to wipe out depression. Thank you so much, anyone who's tuned in now, anyone who's tuned in later. Appreciate you guys and girls out there. Thank you so much for supporting the cause. As you know, we start every single show with that powerful mental health tool, gratitude. Today, gratitude going out to the first ones in Lisa the Luminary and Shawnee Boy 98. Appreciate you guys and girls out there. Also, Brett, a.k.a. McLeod, thanks for joining. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. You're all part of my gratitude section today. I'm also grateful to be alive. I'm grateful that we've got fresh air to breathe outside. I caught some sunlight this morning. Had a little pleasure cruise on the bike. Got some coffee in me. Tons of things to be grateful for out here. And that's going to wrap up my gratitude section. Go ahead and think about what you're grateful for today. It can be one thing, two things, a dozen things, whatever comes to mind. Just ask yourself that question. What am I grateful for today? What am I grateful for in this moment? And let that shift your mindset into a positive direction for the rest of the lesson. Today we're going to be working on some angled knees. It's one of my favorite knee strikes. But before we get into that, let's talk about that second mental health tool. Progress tracking. Keeping track of the number of days you show up for yourself builds into more self-esteem, self-validation, and that is something that not even the lies of depression can take away from us. So please do keep track of the number of days that you move forwards, the number of days that you get up and you fight for yourself. If it's this program, or if it's a heavy bag routine, or a training time with Bob, you might notice he looks a little different today. He's getting ready for this winter weather. Especially on the bike out there, it's getting freezing cold. But whatever it is you're doing for you that builds you up mentally and physically, you want to keep track of that daily goal. You can use this list tool to track an accomplishment in any aspect of life, even down to the smallest things like making the bed, and it will have a positive effect. But if you couple it with something that builds you up mentally and physically, then we can make that an even more powerful effect in our lives, because it will be proof that we've overcome the debilitation that comes with depression and anxiety. So use that number as an anchor, especially on your bad days. If you can, share your progress with others, because that's one of the best ways we can inspire one another. And that's going to be it for those two mental health tools. Now, let's talk about the lesson a little bit. We'll have Fighting Spirit coming through the boombox. We're going to do standard rounds, 3 rounds each. 1 minute breaks in between to catch your breath and drink some water. And as I mentioned before, we're going to be practicing the angled knee. It's one of my favorite knee strikes to throw in there. Not always useful against friends. You don't really want to toss angled knees into friends. You definitely want to slow those down and just touch and go. But if you get into a sparring situation, or you're training with a technical training dummy like Bob here, Winter Beat Depression Bob, then angled knees feel great. There's a great physical release. Good outlet, full body exercise, right? Muay Thai and boxing and martial arts are full body exercises. So the angled knee is a cool one because it combines kind of the hip rotation that we use with a roundhouse kick that gets our whole body involved, but it incorporates it into a short range attack, something you can throw in there even when your guard is tight and you're really up close with that opponent. You don't want to drop your guard here. You can just quickly rip an angled knee in there and use those tools that we learned in this class and throw them off guard, catch them in the ribs. Ribs is the goal. You can go a little lower with it, a little higher with it, but ultimately you want to toss that knee into the rib cage of that depression dummy that you are visualizing. So today we're going to practice that angled knee, and we're going to practice a few basics and combos that we can use to enter or open up that opportunity to toss an angled knee in there during training. Shout out to Coach Moxer and Abdul Mela, thank you so much for joining. Appreciate your support. So we're going to break down that angled knee first before we get into the lesson itself. And then as we go through the lesson, we'll be practicing fundamentals and opening up a spot for that angled knee to slip in there. So just to break down the angled knee first, it's going to be happening from Muay Thai stance. Remember, stance guides available on sacklifeofficial.com. At the bottom of the free martial arts for mental health class section, you'll find stance guides for all the, mostly we've been doing Muay Thai like for the last 300 days, I think. Western boxing has kind of fallen behind a bit. I got to brush up on my Western boxing. At this point, I've trained my stance in Muay Thai so much that I'm just going to stick with that because I can keep growing. It's easier that way. And when we get a chance to link up with some other boxers or some other martial artists, we'll switch stances. We'll incorporate other martial arts into our patterns and vary up our training routine. But for now, there's unlimited variety in Muay Thai to explore, unlimited room for growth, and so we're going to keep growing with that one together. So talking about this angled knee from Muay Thai stance, when you're nice and balanced, visualize that opponent, square your hips and shoulders with that opponent, right? Pop into your Muay Thai stance. And for a proper angled knee, what we want to do, step into it with that lead foot, kind of stepping off the line just like we would with a roundhouse kick, right? Small opening up on that hip by turning the front foot out. And we're going to crank this arm down if we can, if we have the room. We're going to crank this arm down and chop it on an angle that's opposite to the angle of the knee that we're bringing up. And the hip roll is important here, turning those hips over so we can get that proper angle. And also, we want to bring the knee, instead of just bringing the knee up, right, or swinging the knee forwards, what we want to do is bring the ankle up kind of on the same plane as the knee. So we're going to step off that line, we're going to bring the ankle and knee up together. So we're bringing them up together just like this. We're going to twist and roll through, boom, roll through that hip, and we're turning our torso in the opposite direction as that lower half of our body, so we can get that clamping force. Those two opposing forces build some momentum and power in there. And the cool thing is, if you don't want to drop the guard, you can keep this hand up top, and as you turn, boom, turn the body, you're low on the guard here, but you can move that lead hand around to shield wherever you're going to be most vulnerable. You can also do it without the hand chop, like I was saying before. When you're real close and you got to keep that guard up, you're taking a lot of damage, taking a lot of punishment, you can just step off the line and rip a angled knee in there just to throw off the whole rhythm of that opponent if you're getting into sparring. So, don't do it to your friends. But if you're in a sparring situation and it's allowed, or they have proper gear, then go ahead, go for it. Best opportunity for this is bob, and also practice with the heavy bag to get that really good physical relief. We want to aim to contact with the bone at the top of the knee, and we want to drive it up, whoosh, on an angle up into those ribs, turning that torso, turning our torso into it, boom, as we drive that knee up, and then rotate right back to balanced Muay Thai stance. So we'll practice that today in our lesson, and we're going to get it started. If there's no questions or comments, we're going to get right into it. Go ahead and visualize that opponent. Remember to assign it the thing that you want to work on. If it's depression, make it your depression dummy we're about to knock the lies out of. If it's anxiety, make it your anxiety dummy that we are about to knock the lies out of. And really visualize making contact with it. This way we can reinforce that truth about what we're doing every day that we get up and we fight forwards. We're overcoming those lies that depression tries to sell us, like we can't get up, or we can't do this, or we're not capable of. We're going to overcome those lies with proof. We're going to log it, keep track of it, and we'll have something factual in real life to support ourselves and support our personal opinion of ourselves. And that can help reshape that mindset from victim to victor. Show you what you're capable of on your own, what you can do for yourself with your time, and how valuable that time is. So, visualize that opponent. Let's get this thing going. Also want to shout out to Curiosity by Intrinsic. If you're in the Kearney, New Jersey or North Arlington area, on Saturday we'll be doing a free moving meditation from their location. And it's going to be a good one. It was a great one last time, so if you get a chance, come on out. Show is free. And it's a low-intensity de-stress session, for those of you interested. Alright, let's get this thing going. Visualize that target. We're going to pop right into it. Square up. Lack of motivation dummy. Hey, let's knock out that lack of motivation. Get ourselves self-motivated out here. Square up with your visualized target, right? Guard high by the brow line. Let's start with the basic. Stepping in to that number one jab and rotating back. Step in, twisting through the shoulders and hips. Guard high on the opposite side. Very small step on that lead foot. Whoosh. Exhale on that strike. Whoosh. And turn that fist over. Boom. Landing on those large two knuckles right in the face of that dummy. Keep the shoulders rolled for extra defense. Chin tucked. Whoosh. And back. Whoosh. And back. Whoosh. And back. Whoosh. And back. Guard high. Guard high by the brow line. You want to act like you're looking through a pair of binoculars. Right below the chin, the center mass keeps you aware of all those incoming attacks so we can attack and defend efficiently. Keep that movement going, shifting the weight from the front foot to the back foot, getting closer and further away. Hit him with the number one, the jab, jab. Keep the knees bent and twist into it. Turning that fist over. And we're going to add in the cross. 3, 2, 1. Jab, cross. Boom. Guard high on both sides. Keep that head nice and tight. Chin tucked. Drive those fists down the center line. Let's go. Work for you. Hit that depression dummy. Right in the face. Twist through the shoulders. Really rotate. On the ball of the foot. Work that rotation. Boom. Boom. Keeping the head on the center line. Chin tucked for balance. Keep that movement going. Down that center line and keep working it. Alright, we're going to start to work with the angled knee now. And we're going to bring it right out of the cross. So jab, cross. From here, we're going to chop the arm down on an angle. As we bring the ankle and knee up on one plane, torque them in the opposite direction. Boom. Bring them together, keeping that guard high on the lead hand. Back to stance. Let's try it again in slow motion. 1, 2. From here, turning that front foot out. We're going to lift the ankle and knee at the same time as we turn. Boom. And bring that knee in. Rotating right back. The important part here is to get the top half of the body moving at the same time as the bottom half, so we can bring those two forces together and we don't lose balance. Guard high, reset. Let's get back into it. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And now we're going to 1, 2, and we're going to angle knee. Whoosh! Angle knee and back. Back to stance. Guard high. 1, 2. Angle knee. And back. And back. Guard high. Chin tuck. 3 strikes. Notice how when I torque that knee over, I'm bringing that shield forwards. Bring that guard forwards. Keep my head defended at all times. Back to stance. 1, 2. Angled knee. And back. And back. Don't forget the step forwards on that lead foot. Small step forwards. Rotate in. Boom. Small step. Rotate for the cross. Rotate again. Boom. For that angled knee. Catch your breath. Drink some water. Check in on you. In round 2, we're going to start to talk about the hook and how the hook can set us up for some horizontal movement and give us a good opening to toss that angled knee in there. Ooh, we got about 44 seconds, so make sure you're staying hydrated, checking in on comments. Thank you, Atasha, for joining. Thank you, Simon Amaze. Appreciate your support out there. Thanks for the comments, positive vibes. And Mad with Hats, it's good to see you, brother. We're working on an angled knee today. We got 30 seconds. About to pop into the second round. Go ahead and pop into your Muay Thai stance if you're sticking with us. If not, appreciate your time. Appreciate you stopping by and lending support. So for this next one, for this next set of combos with that angled knee, what we're going to do is work the jab, and then we're going to sidestep, hit him with a hook. And after that hook, that's going to set up an opening, hopefully, where we can toss this angled knee in there nice and easy. Whoosh, boom, right out of that hook. So we're going to start with the jab, then we're going to take a side step here and rip a hook. Once that hook contacts, I'm going to take this hand, remember to toss it on an angle, and we're turning those hips, rotating those hips. So when we sidestep, boom, sidestep out for that hook, leave the foot pointed out. Leave that angle open for the foot. That's going to preload our angled knee. Instead of rotating in for the hook, just kind of toss that hook to set up the knee. And right from there, we're going to rip it, whoosh, boom, right into that center mass. Bringing that knee up, we can get the solar plexus here. If we take a big enough side step, and that hook should take their guard up, leaving us an opening to target on that opponent. So start with the 1, 2, and with the 1, 2, back to stance. Now we're going to pump the 1. We're going to step to the side and toss a hook. We don't have to pivot here. That's another option. But we just want to get ourselves off the center line and kind of diagonally step forwards. So small step for the 1, then diagonal step for the hook. Bam. Right there. Now we're going to torque that knee, bringing the ankle and knee up on one plane, torquing it in. Boom. And putting it back into our orthodox stance. Nice and square. Start with the 1, 2. Ba, ba, 1, 2. Side step for the hook. We're going to toss the hook here without too much rotation. And right there after the point of contact, we're going to shift our body weight forwards and roll that hip, whoos, and drive that angled knee in to hopefully the solar plexus and hit him in that weak spot. Shout out to Master Checo, thanks for joining. Hit him with the 1-2. Side step off that line and toss the hook nice and light just to bring the guard up. From here, we're going to continue this rotation on the upper body, same direction, and rotate the bottom half, whoos, in the opposite direction, bringing that angled knee up. Let's practice it again. 1-2, pop, pop. Step off the line to the side, toss a hook. Once we make contact, whoosh, boom. Bending on the knees will help us really launch in and add extra power into that angled knee. Hit him with the 1-2. Guard high, step off the line for the hook, right? Light hook here, not a whole bunch of rotation. We're setting up that angled knee. From here, the point of contact, we're going to bring this hand in to defend as the opposite hand chops in the opposing direction to that knee. Connect with the hook, and whoosh, boom, there it is. Sinking on those knees again is going to help you get into a proper position and really launch that knee up with force. Guard high, hit him with the 1-2, pop, pop. Step off the line, toss a hook, and whoosh, boom, drive that angled knee in there. Chin tuck for balance. 1-2, off the line for the hook, and angled knee. Back to stance. Ooh, we got 55 seconds. Got a 12 coming in from 1-2. Oh, 1-2, not a 12. From Master Check. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the support. We got 46 seconds before we pop into the final round of training today. And I think we'll stick with that setup, the hook. We can do it from southpaw, or we can do the pivot. We're going to add the pivot in there. I think the pivot's a good idea. We'll play with that. Maybe we'll work on some southpaw angled knees on the next episode. We got 26 seconds. Stay hydrated. $18 seconds left. Woo! And remember, pace yourself. Show up to your skill level. Give yourself a challenge. We can't grow without a challenge. And we can't grow in that comfort zone. So get a little uncomfortable and let's push forwards. Starting with that 1-2. Here we go. Back into stance. Hit him with the 1-2. Pop, pop. Now we're going to step off the line, and this time we're going to pivot into that hook. So it's going to be a powerful hook. We're going to push off with our rear foot and pivot, boom, on the ball of that front foot. And once we're here, we're off that center line. We got their guard up high. We're going to step in again, and we're going to rip that angled knee. Whoosh, boom, right up that center line, right into their solar plexus, depending on how much they've pivoted and adapted to our strategy. But let's practice it together. Hit him with the 1-2, pop, pop. Step off the line, diagonally forwards. Weight on the ball of that front foot. We're going to pivot 90 degrees, tossing that hook. And from here, we're going to take another small step forwards to torque that knee, opening up the hip, right? Let's make sure you can see the feet. Square it up, let's start over so you can see the full body. 1-2, bump, bump. We're going to step off the line and pivot. I'm going to hip hop. Pivot for the hook, boom. And from here, we're going to take a small step out, sinking into it so we can load that knee, and then chop for the angle. Whoosh, boom, and back to stance, guard tight. Square up, let's do it again. 1-2, pop, pop. Step off the line for the pivot hook. Bam, there's the pivot hook. And now we're going to step in again to drive that knee up the center line. Whoosh, boom, on an angle. Angled knee, but it's coming around, catching them right in the solar plexus if we're lucky. If we're not, if we stay straight up, straight on with that opponent, we can catch them in the ribs. If we angle with that pivot hook, we can catch them right in the solar plexus. Good weak spot. Square up, visualize that target, hit him with the 1-2. Hit him with the pivot hook. Step off the line, pivot hook, boom. From here, step into it and sink on the knees. Stand up nice and tall. Whoosh! As you keep that chin tucked and rip that angled knee. Back to stance. 1-2. Step off the line and toss that hook without the pivot. Pop, hook, and right here, angled knee. Back to stance. Remember, for the angled knee, bring the ankle and knee up on the same plane. Torque the body, boom. Opposite directions, keeping that guard high on the lead hand. Hit him with the 1-2. 1-2, angled knee. 1-2, angled knee. 1-2. Now hook, step off the line, hook with the pivot, and then toss an angled knee in. Bang! Right there, back to stance. 1-2. 1-2. Step off the line, pivot hook, right? Pivot hook, and step forwards and drive that angled knee. Whoosh! Angled knee in there. Exhale hard on those strikes and get back into stance. Visualize that opponent. Hit him with the 1-2. Down that center line. Chin tuck. 1-2. Step off the line. Pivot hook. Bang! Into angled knee. There it is. Back to stance. 1-2. 1-2 angled knee. 1-2. 1-2 pivot hook. Boom, angled knee from there. And that is the end of round 3. I know it's a bit technical today. I hope that you guys and girls are finding tools you can use to improve and to refine. Remember, there's unlimited room for progress and growth in martial arts. That's what it's all about. I've been going for 782 days consecutively and continuing to grow every single day, finding new ways forwards and new ways to improve my technique and make myself more capable out here. And that is what it's all about. If we work smart, we don't work too hard into that anxiety zone, we can find a flow zone in between. Boredom, if we go too light, it's going to get boring. If we go too hard, we're going to need a day off. We're going to push ourselves into more anxiety. But if we find that zone in the middle, known as the flow zone, we double our productivity and tap into all kinds of mental health benefits. And we can keep going every single day for at least 782 days. Right? We're all made of the same stuff out here. So let's get it going. Let's keep moving forwards, helping each other at the same time by helping ourselves. And until next time, checking out on comments to Yudi Doshi, thank you for being here. And Coach Moxter, thank you for helping us knock out negativity in our lives through boxing. Heck yeah, that's what it's all about. There's no place for that negativity out here. Get rid of it. So thank you for supporting and helping us grow forwards together. Until next time, I'll catch you guys same exact time, same exact channel, same exact life. Zach Man out.